Law Director report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to be extremely brief tonight. For once. Does anybody have any questions on my written report? If nobody does, I'm going to drop down to Section E. That's the Powell Clinch land transaction and counteroffer, and turn it over to Mr. Stevenson. He's here to address the County Commission. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Mr. Yeager. I have a survey for each commissioner, but in the sake of time, I don't know if as late as it is, but if y'all could share one between the two of you, just so you'll know what we're talking about, what has transpired in the piece of property that was deeded to the county.
Here, do you want me to? I'll pass these out if you want to go back to the microphone so they can hear you. Got 'em.
I thought I had them all marked. Does everybody have one? Does everybody have one that is a portion of the property is highlighted in yellow? I thought I had them all marked, but I don't. Okay. In somewhere around 1925, 26, the state took where 25W, which is shown on this map as Leach Avenue, that was originally 25W. It went out Leach Avenue, turned and went in front of the First Baptist Church, and continued on north about where the present 25W is now reconnected into it. And the state came in and they rerouted 25W. And actually, what's in yellow was the back of some lots that was over on Leach Street. And the surveyor, Crutchfield Surveys in Jacksboro, researched this property and found that that yellow section of property was deeded to Anderson County in 1926, and it has a total of 0.17 of an acre, 1/1700 of an acre. It has 191 feet of road frontage on 25W on the front side, and in the back is 177 feet, and then on one end toward Clinton, it's got 39.98 feet of frontage, and on the other end toward the interstate, it's got 40.02 feet, almost the same amount on each side. But I went to the City Hall in Rocky Top, and this property is on C2. And in a C2 zone, the front setback for a building is 35 feet. This property is 40 feet wide, and the setbacks is 35 feet from the front. And the rear, my understanding is it's 10 feet from the rear. So this piece of property is not buildable because of the setbacks that were adopted by Rocky Top in 2017. They've been in effect now for about 5 years, the current subdivision regulations for Rocky Top. And what we have here is a piece of property that the value in this piece of property, it's a very subjective thing to determine, but it has road frontage. It gives additional road frontage to the 2.69 acres, and that 2.69 acres includes what is in yellow, that piece of property, that the 1/1700ths of an acre. And Powell Clinch, I went to their board meeting a week and a half ago, and Rob Neal is out of town this particular week for this meeting, county commission meeting, and they gave me the authority to come and tell the county commission that based on what our property assessor had appraised this property for and has submitted a letter previously, but he said it was worth somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. And at the last meeting, the motion was made that they would sell the property to Powell Clinch for $20,000, and Powell Clinch countered with the $15,000 because based on the value that Johnny Alley had given, this piece of property is worth somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000, and they have countered that they will give $15,000 to the county for that 1/1700ths of an acre that's on your map.
Commissioner McCamey.
Question for the law director.
Yes, sir.
Is it legal for the county to sell the property to an individual or a company without going through the bid process?
Yes, I wrote that into the deed. It's the interlocal agreement statute, allows us to transfer property, and that specific statute has the last subsection in it, I think it's E or F, says without having to go through the normal surplus statutes. So yes, sir.
I had a constituent ask me why it didn't go to public auction.
You're correct.
Commissioner Wendell, what was your motion?
Mr. Chairman, my motion is to accept the $15,000 from Powell Clinch Utility District for the property presented.
Seconded by Commissioner Isbell.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. I think that'd be a win for the county, because we've done a couple of land deals in this new commission, and we've come out.
Commissioner Mays.
What is the anticipated sale, like, how much do you think that property's gonna sell for when it goes to auction?
Somewhere between, my estimate, probably between $325,000 and $425,000. I'm gonna give you a range like Johnny Alley gave.
I'm gonna, and I support Powell Clinch, but I'm gonna vote no on this, I would just think $5,000 is a little, I mean, come on, you know.
But you do have to look at the fact that it's totally an unbuildable piece of property.
Well, they've got part of their building on our property now.
Well, that is true.
So I look at it as back rent.
Back rent.
Commissioner Isbell.
Jay, because it's a public entity, Art, is there a limit about how much I know at one time, I've had people look at that building and they couldn't really make a profit, but they couldn't take a loss. Is there any restrictions on that? Because they're like a 501c3 and they're a not-for-profit?
No, they're organized as a utility. We pull the Secretary of State. They're a
Okay,
Public utility here in Tennessee.
so they can sell it for whatever. I mean, if it brings 100,000, they can sell it for that.
Right. They're selling it by auction through Mr. Stevenson.
Absolute.
Yes.
Commissioner Wells.
I guess for the sake of a win-win for all of us and the sake of due diligence, motion to amend the original motion and counter their counter at $17,500.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second to amend to 17,500. Let's go to the board and vote. Any discussion on amending?
Amendment.
Commissioner Yeager.
When do they meet again?
Second Thursday or?
It'll be in August. Is it the second
I think it's
Thursday?
the second Thursday.
Okay, yes, you're right, it is the
Yeah,
second
It'll
Thursday.
be a while.
Okay, this is to amend, we're gonna vote to amend this is voting for the amendment, which is to counter with $17,500.
Mr. Chairman, did they give you any wiggle room?
No, they just. No, they, just told me, they voted to, one of their directors made a motion to counter it, that, because they got Johnny Alley's, appraisal that he gave, and that's what they did. They just looked at it and they countered it 15,000, made a motion, and told me to come down here and tell you, don't shoot me, I'm just a messenger.
Well, when it goes back on the tax rolls, Johnny's gonna make it 50 to 60,000, right?
Oh, yes, I'm
When
sure
they-
he will.
okay.
Utility, it won't go back on.
Yeah, that's true. Well, after they sell it.
Yeah.
Who do
After they
they
sell
sell it to? This is for the amendment to counter with 17.5. Six yes, eight no. Okay, the amendment fails. So now we're back to the original motion, which is to accept the $15,000 offer. Any discussion on that? Commissioner Smallridge.
Yeah, I wanted to be clear. So we have a piece of property that's, we're willing to let go for 15,000. Is that the most? And yet you said it's worth how much?
Oh, I haven't said anything. I'm talking about, yeah, all we're talking about is what is in yellow.
Oh, okay. So
It's
you were
set-
talking when you said that.
Yeah, I was talking about the whole
The whole thing. Okay.
2.69 acres.
Okay. I'm clear now, I think.
Commissioner Wandell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, sure is a lot better than $800, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
That was the original offer.
It was a
$800
recommendation from
bucks.
The law director was 800, yeah.
I say 800?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said we should give it to them for what we paid for it, 1925.
Oh, yeah, I said at the minimum, we need to recover what we paid for it.
We were on the gold standard in 1925, so if you had like
Absolutely.
$40, $20 gold pieces.
I don't believe in losing money.
From that, what
This
would
is
that be?
where we need to minimum, we've had a lot of $10 deals over the time. So we did have $800 in it.
Commissioner Wells.
So I'll speak last to it since my last motion failed. I heard the mayor make a comment. If they were in a hurry, they wouldn't have countered us. I think 15,000, it's a great number to sit at. But again, being a steward for the taxpayer, they obviously want to negotiate. Why don't we throw it back at them? Just to take their first offer from a business standpoint, that don't make sense. We're leaving money on the table. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything without the property. So the ball's in their court. I'll make a motion to amend the motion that we counter at $17,499. And we do that on behalf of the taxpayers of Anderson County.
Got a motion, no second, so that amendment fails for lack of a second. Commissioner Mays, sliding in at the last second the amendment. And this is to amend to,
$17,499 on behalf of the taxpayers of Anderson County. Supply and demand.
People, it's bedtime for some people.
okay. Let's vote on the amendment to amend this to counteroffer to $17,499. 7-7, motion fails. Now,
Question on the original motion.
all right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, do we need to vote on calling the question? Okay. All in favor of calling the question, say aye. Any opposed?
No.
Okay, one no. Let's go to the board and vote. Yes,
Original motion.
If this fails, then it stays at 20.
okay,
And then they would have the opportunity to counteroffer again.
okay. Six yes, 8 no, motion fails, so we're still at $20,000.
$24.99 is looking pretty good right now.
So I could, what was the final vote?
6-8. 6 yes.
We've got a couple absent.
So it failed,
Still at 20.
still at 20. Okay.
Hey, Bear, I'd like you to use Mr. Mays's comment about they've been on our property for all those years. I like that a lot.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a motion at this point?
Yes, Commissioner Wells.
And I'll do this the last time tonight for the sake so we can't get home. I make a motion that we counter their counter at $17,498. Again, as a win for the citizens of Anderson County to say we did our diligence.
Motion and a second. Any discussion on sending a counteroffer to Powell Clinch for $17,498? Any discussion? Okay, let's go to the board and vote. Yes is to counter. 8 yes, 6 no. Motion fails.
It passes.
So it passes.
No, well, we've gotta have 9.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
it's not, they
Absolutely.
were absent with,
It's mere
With
absence,
cause.
there's nothing with cause.
So we're still at 20.
20 it is.
Okay. Well, I will deliver this to Mr. Rod Neal, and then they'll take it up at their next meeting, and
When's the auction?
like somebody asked me that question, I think the last commission meeting, I said, the rate we're going, it may never be sold. But anyway, on behalf of Powell Clinch Utilities District, as directed by them to deliver what I have, thank you. But I will say one thing, you have earned your money this meeting.
Thank you, Bear, appreciate it.
Okay, Jay, thank you.
Okay, under committee board reports, we've still got the Rules Committee report by Chairman Smallridge.
I'll be brief. Rules Committee met July 10th and took following action. Motion was made to add Public Chapter 213 on open meetings to the rules after this, and to add it after the second paragraph of Rule 2, Number 7. Motion was passed to forward to full commission. So I guess I'll move, it's appropriate, I'll move for approval.
Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Smallridge, seconded by Commissioner Foster. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And then there was a motion made to strike all of Rule 25 and substitute the following information. Committee reports shall include items discussed and action items that were passed by a majority vote. Any action item that failed or died in committee may be added to the agenda by a vote of a simple majority of commission. Motion was passed and forwarded to the full commission for approval. And again, I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Smallridge. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wells. Commissioner Isbell.
Yeah, what about, you know, statements like it was a non-action item, like what we did on, operations tonight, where Commissioner Palmer